Hello and welcome to another edition of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Sense, and with me today are Jim and Jodi Schumacher, who are the owners of Schumacher Shanty and Schumacher's Bait and Gun in Stockbridge, Wisconsin. Maybe we'll go right into some questions right away. We were just coming off the sturgeon season, and maybe I could start, Jim and Jodi, asking you what your impressions are of this year's sturgeon season.
Well, I thought that we did great. The people came out and supported us. There was buses and stuff that came around, bar to bar, for some beverages and, of course, some food. Mm-hmm. We did do a lot of food over the first weekend of Sturgeon Spearing.
Okay.
So we had a lot of support, and we're very thankful for that.
Yeah. Sturgeon Spearing did affect somewhat of the business, but overall it was better than we expected. Mm-hmm. It turned out really well.
So this year we had very little ice. You had some ice here, I'm assuming, but not a whole lot, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would be this year compared to a typical year? How many people would you see out there on the lake with the shanties and things like that?
Well, there's anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 out there during a good season. Mm-hmm. This year I didn't even purchase live bait for the shop because the volume wasn't there. People weren't going. So it affected it some.
There's a couple people here and there that went out ice fishing, but not enough
a whole lot.
But you're still a destination, so even though there's no ice, people are still coming.
Right.
So that's a real testament to what you guys do. Mm-hmm. Let's maybe talk about why people come here. I know you mentioned that people stop by for drinks, but the food. You want to maybe just talk through some of the food that you serve? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we make fresh, made-to-order pizzas. We have 3 different sizes, which a lot of people like, or 4 actually.
4 different sizes.
Because we have the personal size, and we have 12, 14, and 16-inch. And we also offer a gluten-free crust and a gluten-free cauliflower crust.
But that's in 12-inch only.
In 12-inch only.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can build your pizza, or you can order one of our specialty pizzas. We also make specialty sandwiches and wraps. Nothing is made ahead of time. It's all made to order.
Yeah. Everything is fresh ingredients.
Yes.
Mushrooms, everything. The appetizers are unique because they're either baked or air fried. Nothing is deep fried.
Okay.
So those are, and they're very good, the ones we've tried. But that's mostly because they came out with a lot more new product for air fryers, so it's becoming a thing.
Mm-hmm. We pride ourselves in using all fresh produce. Also, all of our sauces, condiments do not contain any high fructose corn syrup.
Yep.
We also use only 100% real Wisconsin cheese for all of our sandwiches and all of our pizzas.
So we have no American processed cheese. It's just all real stuff.
The real stuff, okay.
And as far as drinks go, a couple of the favorites, we make our old fashions from scratch, muddled. The Bloody Marys, people order them all week long, not just on Sundays or morning, noon, and night.
I make the mix for that.
She makes the mix. It's her own. Some people say she should market it, but I don't know. But that's more work. but they do love it. So those are a few specialty drinks that we do.
They come for the bartender camaraderie too.
Yeah. But and the atmosphere. I think we have a very warm atmosphere here. Okay. It's comfortable. People look at the building and then they're like, wow, I didn't expect this when I walked in the door.
We get that a lot.
Yeah, and just for listeners, just so they understand what we're talking about, we're in the bar restaurant area right now, and it's beautiful timber chairs, a lot of wood everywhere. You've got wainscoting up halfway to the wall. You've got an main entrance that has about 10-foot tall bear?
Well, about 6'5".
6'5".
613 pounds.
He's just up on the stage.
He's on the stage, and he looks really, really impressive. But he's very close to Wisconsin because he's wearing a cheese hat.
Yeah.
So just so everybody's aware of the cheese head there that he's got on. And then there's a stage, I'm assuming, for live music over here on the other side of the door. And then when we walked in, we walked by an area. Is that kind of like a banquet area for folks to use? You want to maybe talk about that?
Sure.
We book parties over there for anything from showers to birthdays to anniversaries. We've also had probably about 4 weddings here over the 12 years that we've been here. Okay. We will close down the whole bar for that and then open up the whole place for weddings. And actually, for weddings, we allow them to have food catered in.
Okay.
So.
And speaking of events, we do this, well, probably be twice a year, but we do it
only
once a year.
now.
But we have a pizza and beer pairing where Wisconsin Distributors picks out the beers to go with the flavors of our pizza.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So for one price, you get to try 6 different beers plus a 7th surprise. And the same thing with the pizzas. You get to try all our pizzas.
Every single pizza we have.
Yep. And that event will be posted on Facebook whenever.
Generally, what time of year is that?
It's always during the winter sometime. It's usually an off week from football.
Okay.
So
All right.
when people don't really have anything to do, it's a Sunday, and it lasts for 2 to 3 hours, and we only sell 40 tickets for it.
Okay.
Yep.
And then do you do anything like for opening weekend of fishing season or anything, or the hunting season? What kind of things do you have, an activity do you have going on around here then?
Logan Spicer played here before already,
Yeah.
so sometimes there's live music. Depending upon the year, what it was going to be this year, we didn't have any because it was such a slow year. Mm-hmm. But if it's going to be busy, we'll do some live music, or, basically it's just people are just really attracted to our food and just the warmth of the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned before too that buses swing by. Can you maybe talk us through some of the bus experience? Are we talking?
We will have bachelor parties stop on buses, bachelorette parties, birthday parties. Hilbert has that trolley that's stopped here a number of times with parties and stuff. Yep. Usually we get notified ahead of time that that's going to happen, so we can kind of be prepared. But that doesn't always happen.
You can handle a motor coach pulling up, is what I'm hearing you say.
We do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
You can throw anything at us, and we've got it. We've done
Always
it all.
made it. I call her the food ninja sometimes. The way she puts food out in the kitchen,
Okay.
Because
it's amazing.
Typically one person working in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Because of the problems finding staffing and stuff. So.
Well, maybe I could just ask a couple of historical questions. First of all, how long have you owned the facility, and can you maybe tell us how you got to this point where you decided to be in Stockbridge doing what you're doing here?
Well, we've owned it since, actually, we signed the papers to buy the building February 6th of 2012.
Yep, so we've been here 12 years.
12 years. We opened April 2nd of 2012. So we're, we were both working somewhere else. We worked at Tecumseh. That's where we met. We worked at Tecumseh. I worked there 20 years. He worked there. Jim worked there 13 years. And as most people know, Tecumseh closed the doors, and we stayed there until then. And then I had the opportunity to go to school after that, and went to Moraine Park and got an associate degree in criminal justice, whereas Jim went on to work at MB in New Holstein. And then I ended up working in dispatch at the Calumet County Sheriff's Department for 2.5 years. During that time, we were entertaining the idea of opening our own business. We drove past this several times. We didn't usually come through Stockbridge very often then. We drove through several times, and we thought we saw this big for sale sign always in the window in front. And I'm like, boy, that's a really big building. Boy, that's been for sale for a long time. Never thinking we were ever going to actually stop and look at it sometime, and we did, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Because we walked in the door when Jerry Field showed us this place. We walked in the door, and all of a sudden, Jim and I are do-it-yourselfers, and we have all of a sudden the wheels are turning, and we have all these ideas of what we want to do, and so it was a dream of ours, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It's a beautiful brick building. For those listeners that maybe have driven through Stockbridge, you'll recognize it immediately if you're coming from the north and heading south, because there is a large mural on the north-facing wall of the building, and it's of the leaders, the early leaders, founders of Stockbridge. Do people come in and talk about that, comment on the mural, and what kind of reactions? What kind of reactions do you hear about the mural?
Yeah, there's people I'll be driving through, and they'll ask right away, hey, how much did you pay for that mural, first of all? But a lot of it was as a historical society, and a guy that I knew for years, but he's an art professor down in Milwaukee, and that's actually how they do their teaching, whatever. And so we basically donated a wall.
Okay.
But
and he
said everything.
James
Brainy.
got grants. He was able to get
Yep.
grants to do it.
Yeah.
And then at the same time they did the one in Chilton.
And it has people, Haymowers are up there who owned it when it was grocery store for the longest time. That's what everybody knows it as. They're like, oh, this is the old grocery store. You know? It was that for a long time. They have painting up there of the riverboat that used to come across with coal, and they used to bring coal from the harbor to their homes. Electa Quinney is up there. She was
the first school teacher?
Yep, first public school teacher.
In Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin,
Yeah.
yep. She is up there. And then there's a few others. Then there's the Muncie Nation, Stockbridge Indian. They're up there.
If anybody has any questions, though, there is a
Yeah.
legend on the outside as well as in here posted. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So it's a draw, and
It is.
It's a nice testament. It really grounds the building in the history of the community, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I walk in on a Friday night, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. What am I going to walk into? What kind of atmosphere am I going to walk into on a Friday night?
Smiling faces, hungry people, fed people, happy people. I don't know, just everybody
And especially
seems
being
to
a
know
Friday
everything.
night, that's the end of most people's work week, the beginning of our, busy
Right.
weekend.
And no matter where you're from, you're welcome. It's not like you don't have to be from the village. You don't have to be from close by. Because there's people in here that are from the village, and they're like, where did those people, who are those people? Where'd they come from? Oh, they're from Kiel. Oh, I've never seen them before. So it's kind of a neat thing. So a lot of people meet people here that they never met before. So that's kind of a unique thing. I like that.
So Schumacher Shanty is
Yeah.
closer than you think to lots of places around here.
You know, it's there's been a lot of people we met through here. Oh, like friends of ours that we have down in Alabama
we've met
now.
so many people.
that we know from Green Bay, from all over. It's just been a very good experience.
And it's not just meeting them, it's seeing them again and again.
Yep. Yeah.
And creating friendships and
getting
then
to know
ending up
Yeah.
vacationing with some of these people. And
Yeah, it's been a really good experience.
Yep.
So there's a bait and gun shop as well.
Yes.
And maybe if you could describe, because we're in the restaurant and I see no hint of the bait and gun shop. So
Correct.
where is it
The
compared to the
gun
restaurant?
shop is on the west entrance of the building. It's divided from the bar restaurant, of course, because you can't have firearms in the bar. So there is a division, but you cannot have alcohol back there. So if they go back to look, it's without alcohol. But it's just right on the west side of the building. It's a small little shop. It's got a 24-hour bait area where they have it on the honor system. They can get it morning, noon, or night. Doesn't matter. And that seems to work really well. I've had no problem with
had
that.
Very good luck with that.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, one kind of feeds the other and back and forth. And, they come get something to eat and, hey, can I go look at some lures? And then they come out, can I buy these, So it works out really
That's
well.
probably the biggest thing that we did notice this winter with there not being very good ice, so the ice fishermen aren't out there. Whereas they used to go out there ice fishing, come here for lunch or dinner or whatever, and we didn't get to see a whole lot of that this year.
Okay.
So.
And so if I'm just deciding I want to go fish, what do I need to bring? I bring my pole and I'm pretty much good to go.
You bring your
basically,
pole, and from there, if you need any information along the lake shore, I'd be more than happy to tell you what's going on, what people are catching. If you can believe fishermen, because none of them lie, tell the truth, well, that's my information. I get it from the fishermen, and I pass it on to the other fishermen.
All right.
So.
Well, that's interesting because, Calumet County, if somebody says they've caught a fish that's 50 inches long, you kind of have to believe them around here.
Well, sure.
I mean, and not everybody can, really be doing that in other parts of the state. So, then during the gun season for deer hunting, do you have a lot of activity, people coming in?
Yep, that's full. I do put scopes on guns. I can accessorize them, whatever they need. I do ask them a lot that they come in September. August would be great. September, October. But the night before deer hunting, it's kind of hard to get everything and everybody at one time. So I can, but it is full service back there. I can take care of all their needs as far as the firearms. The only thing I do not do is gunsmiths because I don't have the machining, but I can add accessories and such like that.
Okay.
So, but another thing that I think is pretty nice too is in the front of our building. This goes back to the restaurant, but we have outside seating.
Okay.
which people enjoy during the summer months.
Might even be in February this year, huh?
Yeah.
Might even be but they can bring their pups out on the deck. They're more than welcome.
So you're
to
very
do
pet
that.
friendly?
Yeah, very pet friendly here. So, so I just want that to be noted. Other than that, just open arms. Welcome to everybody.
So if you were to encourage people to come visit and end the day with you, what would you tell them to do during the day before they would stop in and have an old-fashioned or some pizza? What things would you encourage them to do around the county or around Stockbridge?
Oh, we have some interesting little boutiques here, little specialty stores and stuff.
There's Brave Girl Boutique.
The Brave Girl Boutique.
Wild Chicory. Our parks, High Cliff, County Park, beautiful. Columbia's in Fond du Lac County.
Calumet County Park.
But Calumet County Park and High Cliff, those are some of the nicest parks. People always, where are you going today? And they'll tell me, we're going hiking up at Calumet County Park. I'm like, well, did you ever think maybe even going a little further, go to High Cliff? Oh, no, what's that? And you tell them. So there's a lot to do. There's a lot of neat
along the
events.
lakeshore, yeah.
Do you have a lot of bikers stop in? Use
We
this
do.
as a meeting spot? Yeah.
Yeah.
Motorcycle and bicycle?
Both, yes,
Yeah.
because Lakeshore Road down there, that's a main biking trail, I guess.
Yeah, pedal bikes,
Pedal bikes, yep.
motorcyclists.
We are in probably about 5 or 6 different called poker run books for the summer for motorcycles. You don't actually have to have a motorcycle; you can have a car to do the poker runs too. But
One group's even as far as from Milwaukee, Germantown, around there.
and they ask
love coming
us
up
to
here.
get in their books. We don't ask them; they ask us. So that's kind of
that's a
nice
good
that
sign.
they.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they enjoy
The
coming.
Wolf River chapter is a little bit further away
Yep.
too. So
Yep. Yeah, Hill Mobs out of Manitowoc, they come. There's just,
in Calumet County, A-Bait.
Yes, A-Bait of Calumet County. Yeah.
So if a family reached out to you and said, hey, we want to have a family reunion, we want to have it in Stockbridge, we want to have pizza, how many people of a family could you handle on a given night here for that type of an event?
Well, if they were going to have it depended on, I suppose, how many people. If it was like let's say 100 to 150, we would close down the whole place for them.
To the public.
So you can handle a large function, no problem.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yep,
Yeah.
like the weddings
Okay.
that we've done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Is there any last thing that you want people to know about the Shanty before we wrap up here?
Also, to go along with the bait and gun shop as well as the bar, we are DNR agents, so you
Okay.
can come here and buy your sports licensing, and also you can renew registrations for ATVs, UTVs, boats, snowmobiles.
Okay. I see you even have apparel for sale.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes, we do. Yeah.
Our hoodies.
We have
The
t-shirts and
bait shop
hoodies.
and bar runs.
They're very cool. There's an orange camouflage softball style shirt, folks. If you're interested, and it's a nice black with a nice orange and some very neon bright colored T-shirts and tie dye and the hoodies, and it's pretty cool. And it promotes the restaurant, and it also promotes the sturgeon season that we just came through. So if you're wanting to check some of that out, stop in and have yourself a beer, have some pizza, and leave with a hoodie. So. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate you being on the program. And
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah.
And again, for listeners out there, I would encourage you to swing by, stop in. It's a real great place to be. Meet some new friends and have some great food. Take care.